Have you ever done the right thing, but in way the wrong way? And it worked. You were right, and the situation seemed to work out just fine. How did you feel about that afterward? In 2 Samuel chapter 20, I want to show you how you should feel about doing the right thing, but in the wrong way. David's facing a rebellion. As he's conquered his son Absalom, he goes back and takes over the kingdom of Judah, but there's 10 more tribes, and they're not coming back to him. In fact, Sheba has led a rebellion, and so he's got to put down this rebellion. Well, in the midst of Absalom being killed, his commander named Amasa, David decides to keep him alive. And in fact, he wants to show him just how much he's forgiven him for leading the rebellion against David by making him the captain of his entire army, his entire forces. The obvious person to do this, well, was Joab. He was the commander of the army. He did make up, all kinds of good battle plans, and he was loyal to the death for David. But Joab is also the one who killed Absalom, and so maybe David says, I'm kind of getting you back a little bit. I don't know. It was a stupid thing to do. He put Amasa as the head of all the forces, including Joab. So now that Sheba has rebelled, he says, Amasa, I want you to go and put down this rebellion. So Amasa slowly amasses an army. He isn't quick about it. This was actually why Absalom lost his battle, because he was so slow to get the army together. Well, finally David's like, okay, look, captain of the guard, Joab, you need to go and help this battle out. Joab says, got it. So the royal guard, led by Joab, goes out to fight. And they meet up with Amasa and his forces that are kind of, in disarray. And Joab kind of leans over and his sword falls out. And he's like, hey, Amasa, how you doing? And Amasa's like, oh, okay, he's unarmed, And they walk over to each other. And Joab grabs his beard, which would have been a friendly gesture, kind of, how you doing? Grabs his beard and says, hey, are you in good health? And Amasa's like, yeah, I'm doing great. And just then, Joab thrusts a knife right into his gut and opened up his whole stomach, and his entrails, all of his intestines fall out. The Bible says he didn't knife him again. What does that mean? That means that Amasa lay there on the ground for 2 to 3 hours and painfully died in front of all of his soldiers. And everyone who sees this is like, whoa, that just happened. No one's coming to his aid. In fact, the soldiers that are like marching somewhere, they're stopping. So they had to move the body and let him die into a field that was nearby. It's a gruesome, gruesome scene. Joab was right. This was a stupid person to put in charge of the army. He wasn't doing a good job. He was disloyal to the core. Why would you do this? And so he kills him. And then Joab leads all the troops into battle, finds a wise woman over the wall, and she says, hey, don't besiege our city. He says, well, what do you want me to do about it? And she says, I'll send you the head of Sheba over the wall. And he says, sounds great. Ends the battle. Joab was wise. He was a good leader. And he saw something David didn't see. Amasa needed to go. But he did the wrong thing. He did the right thing, but he did it in the wrong way. He killed Amasa. What needed to happen, he needed to talk to David and get permission to kill Amasa. If that permission wasn't given, then he shouldn't have killed Amasa. There's this thing called leadership, and God likes it. And what you'll find is, if you go against leadership, like Joab did here, you might get some good results, but it ends very, very badly for you. Leaders are wrong all the time. David was wrong. This was a stupid move. Joab knew how to lead men, but he didn't know how to be led. That was his problem. All of us are under authority. Every single person in the world has authority over you. And if you do not recognize that authority, your life ends very, very, very badly. What really Joab should have done is talk to David. He probably didn't get anywhere. You wait on God. God has a plan. God knows you got a bad leader leading the army, and God can handle these things. Wait on the Lord. Don't do the right thing in the wrong way, because what you don't see is the underpinnings of your life are getting broken away one by one, decision after decision. Do the right thing in the right way.